Recording. We're good. We're good to go. Boom.
Okay. So
Man, we should all protest COVID, right? Because these technical difficulties are off the.
Yeah, let's go outside and stand within centimeters of each other. Hell, let's touch each other.
I'll hug both of
shit.
you. I'll say it. I'll hug both of you.
Once that movie sit ahead, don't ask her like 'cause she'll say I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen It podcast. This is the podcast where we bring people on the show and we get them really drunk and they tell me about a movie that I've never seen before. I'm your host, Alanka Zach.
And I am Will. I am also here.
Will's always here, always stuck on my computer at all times. It's pretty unfortunate, but he is trapped and he's accepted his fate. That's fine. Today, you guys, we have another person trapped in my computer screen today, but only temporarily. Unfortunately, not all the time, but if it were, that'd be neat. Can you imagine if I could just rub my computer screen and a magical Daniel Brenneman would come out at all times?
I can grant wishes. That is part of who I am as a human as well.
You guys, that's Daniel Brenneman. Dan Brenneman is a co-host of the Paul Giamatti podcast entitled Giamatti. Dare you to say that 20 times fast, not just 10, but double the trouble. Thank you for being on the show.
I didn't know when I can come in. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a fun fact. If you can say it 20 times fast, you get to replace me as co-host of the podcast. It's like a battle to the death. Yeah.
I gotta try that.
Nobody's taken it up yet.
It's extra difficult because it's Giamatti 3 times, and that's just one set. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have to say that.
Yeah. That's 60 times. God damn.
Thank God that you can do the math, Dan.
If you do it like 100 times, does that mean you are Paul Giamatti?
Yeah. You become the man. Your head balds. Yeah, that's it.
Not the worst.
I love the podcast, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Will. Thanks.
Yeah.
It makes me giggle so much.
It makes me giggle.
It makes me giggle all the time. I don't know why, Dan. Everything you say just makes me laugh.
That makes me so happy. I'm going to put that somewhere. I'll put that on our Instagram. It makes people giggle.
As a review? Well, whatever. All I want out of my own podcast is to make people giggle. And if I can't do that, then... Okay, well, you guys, because Will just so amazingly took a little swig out of his glass, well, let's introduce, I guess, the movie first, and then...
Oh, no, I got a segue. I got a segue for this.
Oh, nice.
I'm so sorry.
So, Dan, I recently listened to the Illusionist episode of your podcast. Love it. I love that movie. I really liked because I love Edward Norton.
I don't think I've seen that either.
Yeah, he's really good.
We should add it onto the list. It's a great movie. And as you pointed out in the podcast, another movie came out that year with a similar theme called The Prestige.
An incredible film.
Yes. Also starring
that.
Hugh Jackman. And the movie we're talking about today stars Hugh Jackman. Here we go.
Wow. Can we just give a round of applause for that segue?
That was beautiful.
That was good stuff.
This
guy knows movies.
I'm so glad he interrupted my almost natural flow into it, into something that was just even better.
Alenka, did you know Hugh Jackman was in this movie?
Yeah, so earlier I had mentioned that there's one thing that I knew and the rest were all guesses. The thing that I knew was that Hugh Jackman was in the movie. Did we say the movie?
No.
We just said, okay, great. So the movie that Dan's going to enlighten me on today it's The Greatest Showman, The Greatest one? The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman.
It's
The Greatest
It's not
Showman.
the kind of good showman. It's not the second best showman. It's not even like the
tried and made it showman. The Greatest Showman. So what I know for sure, we got Huey. We got Hugh Jackman as the lead. I could only assume. Okay, so based off the title, I would say he's some fucking theater guy. I mentioned we were doing this movie though earlier in the week to somebody, and they said, "Oh, that magic movie," and I was like, "What?" So now I'm like really confused. Is he a magician? Is it like in The Prestige? Because now I think he's a magician again, which like
That
if he took
magic
a-
movie. Incredible.
Well, like okay,
I mean-
magician movie, whatever.
I mean, there's magic, but not in like an intentional way, just in a this probably could never happen way.
Yeah. And I think
So-
the effect it has on the audience is magical. That's why it made so much money and people love it. So in a sense, it is a magical movie.
True.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm so glad I could be a part of this shaming. Very good.
We're not shaming
Um,
you. We're shaming your friend. The
Yeah,
friend is
you're
bogus.
right. What an idiot.
Yeah.
What a dumb.
You know
Now,
Will. You don't know movies.
Now, Dan,
Yeah.
this is very curious, but I noticed that this movie does not have Paul Giamatti in it.
Oh no.
That's fair. He doesn't. No. This movie has no Paul. And honestly, I don't like that. It's a travesty in my eyes.
But I feel that Paul would really work well in this movie. I feel like there's got to be a role for him somewhere in this movie. And
Yeah, I
we'll
don't-
maybe talk about it.
We should talk about it. We could figure out which role Paul would, because he could be a freak. He's done that
Yeah.
before. He
Yeah.
could be I don't want to spoil it, but he could be a critic. That could
Is
be
it a
Paul.
circus?
He could be
Is it a
any-
circus movie? Is it a circus movie? It's not.
I mean, if have you seen the poster? I think you can gather what this movie's about if you look at the poster.
I didn't want to do research in case it unveils. Sort of.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can I recall perhaps from memory what I may have seen when it came out? When did it come out?
2018, I think, or like
yeah, it's
fairly
early
recent.
2017. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
recent. So like what I remember the poster probably being was like I want to say a stage. I want to say a spotlight. And I want to say I
Was
don't know
Huey
why
there?
but oh yeah, Huey was there. I want to say
Nice,
Huey
okay.
was there and I just want to say I feel like he was wearing tights.
I mean,
Did I get any of this?
some pretty tight slacks? Yeah,
I think you're 4 for 4. Yeah, that's
Was
correct.
he I feel like he was doing a type of
Oh
movie.
my God. You're like an
Whoa.
aficionado of this movie. I think that's
Yeah.
right. He's
Yeah.
doing one of
He was-
these.
He was doing
Should we
like a-
remove this from the list? I think you've seen this fucking
I
shit.
think I have seen this.
Fake.
What
I
is-
call fraud.
Sorry, you guys. You caught me.
Big
I've seen-
phonies.
This
Oh
is
my
my
God.
favorite movie. What is the
Alright.
actual poster, you guys? Because now I'm a little curious.
I
Was-
think it's Hugh Jackman doing a pose in tight slacks
yeah.
in a spotlight. I
I
think you
knew
nailed
it! I knew it. Okay, great.
There might have been some freaks around him, but like he's
Was there?
definitely front and spot. I think so.
When you say freaks, what are we talking? Because as soon as you said freaks, I thought like, oh, freaks. Those people are displayed at the circus. But
Yeah, it does sound kind of mean to call them freaks like this movie does, isn't it?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah. We can get into the freaks. I don't know exactly how we move forward here. Should we get into the movie?
Well,
I could.
We first start with
Okay.
the drink that I made for us.
Yeah, I guess we need to talk about Will's drink.
Yeah.
So
Guys,
today,
and then.
today we are drinking the G&T Barnum.
Don't get it.
Of course you don't.
Does that not ring any bells? Barnum?
Like not even that name.
Is
Nope.
it, is it
Okay.
about a person that actually lived?
You'll find
Is
out.
this about a real
Yeah,
life
you will.
person? Barnum?
Yeah,
Barnum.
maybe.
Barnum.
Maybe. Who knows? You'll find out. Anyway,
hate
the
this
G&T
so
Barnum
much.
is your classic gin and tonic, but the little trick you got to do is you got to find a unique, maybe freakish kind of glass to serve it in.
I just want everybody to know right now that's listening that my glass is way better than Dan's and Will's, and I haven't even seen the movie. Mine is by far the freakiest. Mine has a face on it that's winking at you. Like, I know your secrets.
Yeah, I didn't realize how freaky we were supposed to get because, like, Alenka's glass is super freaky. Will's is just another household object, and mine is technically still a glass. So I thought about using
No.
a Pooh Bear mug, but, like, that's not freaky at all. He's heartwarming, you know?
Ooh, but there is bears in the circus, so
So it is
Right.
a circus!
look, yeah, we've established that already.
Did we, though? Because I don't
Yes.
think we did. I have no idea what genre this movie is. But
It's
wait.
horror. Oh, okay.
No way.
No, it's not.
You can't.
We could literally say anything about this movie, and that will be how Alenka sees this movie. This is how She will go to her friends and say, "Yeah, I heard about that movie, and I heard about all the weird sex stuff in it."
Oh.
Have you watched any of the movies that you've talked about afterwards, or do you just like mark it as done? You're like, it's over. I did it.
Dan, if you want her to watch this movie, shout out to your friends. Shout out on your own podcast about our podcast. The more listeners we get, the more listeners who will buy into a Patreon in which we watch the movies with Alenka.
Oh God,
that feels manipulative, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna push this. If you have to watch any movie that you talk about, I think you should watch this one because it's an incredible movie.
Okay.
Dare I say a perfect movie?
What? Perfect.
Wow, that's some high praise.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
could-
My boy Huey knows what's going on.
I question how a movie that came out in 2018 could possibly be perfect. I even question it having an original idea.
Interesting posits. Yeah.
Well, let's see how perfect this movie is. Dan, we usually start by asking our guest, how does this movie start?
Well, okay. So the movie starts with an old-timey 20th Century Fox logo. And then the next shot is a modern 20th Century Fox logo. So you know the attention to detail is high.
Yes.
Why'd they do that?
I got no idea. They doubled it up. I don't like seeing one logo, two of the same logo. That's ridiculous.
They gotta establish that this is a period movie, but with modern music.
Yeah, question mark? So you hear these like hip hop drums moving in, and you're like, "What's happening?"
But it opens with this absolute banger of a hit. It pumps you up immediately. We're gonna play it right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
you hear like yelling. Ladies and gents, this is the moment you're waiting for.
That's you, Dan, right?
Yeah, but Hugh Jackman is. Oh my God, Hugh Jackman's about to say it.
I thought for a second that was the track. I was like, this guy sounds just like Dan.
I brought my Zoom video back to dance.
Yeah, no, you have to leave it on.
Alenka, did you hear an elephant made a sound in the track?
This is so stressful.
So he's in like a circus, right? He's like in the three-ring circus. And there's freaks and elephants and tigers all around him. People are stomping on the stands.
So
he's working his way around. This is like prime workout music.
Weird.
Like I could picture
Yeah,
myself
this is
pumping
like-
iron to this.
I was exactly thinking that exact thing. This is so weird, you guys. I'm so sorry. This is so oddly pop rocky and like, what's going on? This is a musical?
Yeah, so this like I think the music was all billed as like because La La Land came out the year before, and these are the same guys who did La La Land, and so like all the advertising was like from the guys who made La La Land, this musical about a circus freak.
He's the ringleader, though, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the normal one, you know, who like wears the nice hat and directs people where to go.
Yeah,
and
they
is,
do
like,
get to
super
wear nice
good looking.
hats.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
It's all about the hats, though.
It's all about the hat.
My notes on the song is way too poppy. I want to hear a musical. I want to hear like, you know.
This is the modern musical. This is La La Land. It's La La Land.
It's La La Land, baby. You came to the wrong movie if you wanted to hear a real musical.
This
is pop
La La
music.
Land. Exactly. I can't remember how La La Land sounded though.
It didn't sound like that.
City of Stars.
No, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. La La Land had a real
for me.
a jazz feel, right? Like the guy wanted to be piano guy. He wanted to do jazzness. He wanted to be a cool guy.
Okay, but you
guys,
can't
now
really do.
fuck this movie.
You
I'm
can't do
reviewing La La
classic
Land.
musical.
I'm just
Wait. Have you seen La La
continue.
Land? Is that on our list?
No, it's not because I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Damn.
God
Dan.
damn it.
Continue.
Okay. So this movie opens. Hugh Jackman's in a circus ring. He's like dancing hard. Everybody's chiming in. It's a big musical number, okay?
Mhm.
And then the camera moves past Hugh Jackman. And guess what we see? A baby
A
Hugh
dumpster.
Jackman No,
like
no,
actually
not
a baby?
dumpster. No, it's like a little boy. And
Okay.
he's like
Boy.
looking in the reflection, you know, he's like dreaming about his future life. And then we get the second musical number straight away because they want to deliver results.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Wait,
actually insane.
It's that fast?
I think it is, right? Like
No, he goes to the house. He's the shoemaker's son.
oh, you're right. He drinks tea. He drinks
Yeah.
he's like
Dad,
playing
this is important. Little Hugh Jackman drinking tea is of the most importance to the pivotal
It
moments
is.
of every plot.
You're right. So this is what you need to know, okay? So like he's little Hugh Jackman and he's poor. He's poor. His daddy works in this big house,
Peasant.
but he's poor. And there's a rich little girl about the same age. And, you know, they're like flirting as little kids do. Like he's making goofs and gaffes and she's laughing, getting in trouble. And then
18th century.
18th
trouble.
century. Yeah. Good call out.
What does that mean? What kind
It
of
means
goofs
they're
are
old
that?
now. It means they're dead now.
Yeah.
Oh.
It means like what he did was not that bad, but they got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You can't date a poor man in the 18th
Yeah.
century.
No. Or ever.
You can date a Jackman though.
I think the problem with this movie is that so much of it is done in montage that like it's hard to describe.
No,
Like-
but that's exactly what I love about it for this podcast is that
Yeah.
there's so many montages. We don't have to stick on the details. We can just, and then they montage this part.
Yeah. Exactly. And this opening scene is like the montagiest of montages. Like it covers, like it has to be 8 minutes long. It covers like
Oh God.
Hugh Jackman as a kid likes this girl. His dad dies. He gets on the street. He meets a freak. So like this like can I say ugly child gives him an apple?
It's like a woman who's got
so
like
the freak
weird face deformities, which is
Yeah.
again the first of like, oh, you know, he wants to help freaks because they helped him as a child, not he wants to exploit people.
Yeah, definitely not exploiting anybody, just helping him out.
That's what you think?
That's what the movie wants you to think.
Anyway, they
Yeah.
montage basically through the girl's name is Charity, which
Okay.
you can't be named Charity without being
Hilarious.
rich.
Is that even a rich name? That's what I started thinking. So I've seen
It
this
is.
movie. Oh,
Is it really?
I've never heard like in a movie like old timey names like with movies when someone's named is Charity, it's always like a little rich girl.
Interesting.
is
I always thought it was like a
always
stripper name
ironic.
because like this is like my 5th time watching this movie and I figured out this time her name was Charity and it threw me off. I was like, what 18th century rich girl's name Charity?
I feel
Why
like
not
it should
Nancy?
be Elizabeth.
Yeah,
not
Elizabeth.
Nancy. Elizabeth.
That's too Elizabeth just too classic. It's too
Charlotte.
used up, you know?
It's
Charlotte.
the
Yeah,
20s.
Charlotte's good.
No name's been used up yet.
It's not even the is it the 20s?
Yeah,
It
did you
is
say the
20s.
20s?
I
It's
don't
the 20s,
remember.
right? Or no,
what is
what
it
is
again?
No, it's 1890s? No.
I think it has to be the 18th century, right? There's
They
like
just
yeah.
started using names. None of them are used up yet.
exactly.
She could be-
Yeah.
Also, I just want to make a point. Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman's apparently attractive in this movie, which realistically, like if he was a poor boy in the 1890s, it just means that he was more susceptible to disease and shit. So it's unlikely he even bathed, which, you know, modern society is deemed as attractive, bathing and like
Yeah,
hygienic.
God.
So like
It's true.
These
I already
unreachable
can't
beauty
believe this
standards.
movie. Bathing.
Using soap.
Oh God.
Seriously.
Wait, but
it
you
doesn't
said-
seem real.
Sorry, you said Hugh Jackman is apparently attractive in this movie, as if he's not attractive in every other movie he's in.
Listen, I'm just talking about what I'm hearing here. So
Okay,
This is-
okay.
stop. Sometimes let me just
Yeah.
also add in Wolverine, not so much because he got them mutton chops or something. But then
True.
also, when he's clean shaven, it's a little weird for me.
Well, he is clean shaven in this movie. So
Yeah,
I don't know if
probably a
that
little
factors
too.
into your attractiveness like algorithm, but
Yeah.
he's not. he is
Just for
clean shaven.
him, something about it is not right when he's got the crispy clean shave. You know.
Okay.
All right, so
Well,
montage.
So they montage through the movie with this song, and you've
Yeah.
probably heard it before.
Bet you not.
So this is little Hugh Jackman.
Can I also add that I hate children actors because they're more successful than me? I hate watching movie with talented fucking kids.
I know.
I can just see his stupid bucktooth face too, just like so annoying.
Me awake. He's dreaming of a circus, Alenka.
Is he actually at such a... Well, turn it down. In this moment, he is genuinely like, he's decided, he's like, I want to be a ringleader.
Not yet.
No, he's kind of like,
he's a kid
like,
right now.
I've got visions of something grand.
Yes.
And so as a child, he thinks circus.
No, not yet. As an adult. We montage from child to adult. So eventually he marries the rich girl. This is all established in the montage.
That's in the montage? How could they possibly skim over that detail? How did a peasant boy win over this rich bitch?
I actually don't know.
Because love
just shows
conquers
up.
all, Alenka.
It doesn't in 18, whatever.
Okay, we've established from our social network episode that you don't believe in friendship or love now. So
that's harsh. Wow.
It just didn't work that way. So wait, pause. So she also became poor then? Because there's no way he became rich.
In a way, she does become poor. So they're living
that makes
in
sense.
this like small apartment. They have 2 kids now in New York. The montage still happening.
Okay.
They have 2 kids.
Cute.
He gets fired from his job.
What were they?
He was adding numbers together for a company. He had like a calculator.
They were like, fuck, we only need one person to do this. We don't need like 20 people to do that.
It's about the fall of automation. Yeah. It's but this is like the first 10 minutes of the movie, Alenka. And it's so important. He comes home. It's his daughter's birthday, okay? And he makes this beautiful thing that spins around and like it's like a lantern that shows the stars. And as he spins it, he sees some like animals, and he's like, "Oh, like I have an inkling of an idea to start a show."
Just from that, eh?
Yeah,
I think
sort
so.
of.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm confused.
He's some kind of like artistic, creative MacGyver. You know, so he's like telling the girls a story. So he uses all these little. He's got like a little light and his little suitcase thing, and it's basically a creative MacGyver.
It's very cute,
and he creates this little like merry-go-round thing that has a it's like a shadow show that he makes out of nothing.
Okay,
because he's also an engineer too. I don't know.
Why
he does it all.
Yeah,
he knows it's better money to be an engineer than like a calculator guy, right? And probably even a circus guy.
I mean,
maybe.
I mean, is it better money to be an engineer or an accountant or in show business? I don't know.
I don't want to spoil the movie,
guys,
but he seems to make a lot of money.
I don't. I wouldn't say it's show business if it's a circus, you guys.
What do you call Cirque du Soleil?
What's that?
Okay, next time
that's called a spin-off podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna review a taping of a Cirque du Soleil.
Instead of haven't seen it, we'll just call it "What's That."
I love it. Okay, I think we can stop the music.
Yes,
but
there's a reprise of the same song next, and it's the little girls who sing it.
Exactly.
Oh, we won't be hearing that.
Can I tell you how I first saw this movie? Because I think it might be interesting. Okay.
Yes.
So I lived in Spain in 2018, and I just wanted to flaunt that I lived in Spain. Well,
glad you're not there now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm home safe in Canada.
It became so serious.
But there, like, they would have these, like, I don't know, nightlife was like so big there that the last showing of a movie on like the weekend would happen at like 1:00 in the morning. And so me and my friends would get drunk on gin, actually, which is like pretty iconic that we're drinking gin now. And we'd go to these late showings, like drunk out of our minds, and watch these movies dubbed all in Spanish. And we watched Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, which was fun. I blacked out like 10 minutes into 50 Shades Freed. And we watched The Greatest Showman, all in Spanish, while hammered. And it was incredible. All the music was in English and all the dialogue was in Spanish. And I think it really speaks to the power of this movie to convey deep emotions, burp, and also a really beautiful story. My friend who I saw it with is like, I have never seen him like get emotional at things. And we left the movie and I was like, oh, that was a good movie. And he turned to us and he said, guys, that was incredible. I cried 3 times in that movie. In
Holy-
Spanish.
Guys, I want to
Wow.
join the circus.
So what
he
hearing,
can't understand Spanish. I don't know why he cried 3 times. But the first time was in the first 10 minutes in the montage.
Wow.
I feel like Up did a better opening montage. I wouldn't cry at this montage.
No, it's so basic, but the music is so good. And I know, Alenka, you're pushing back against it, but I think if you watch the movie, you would realize just how good it is. Like, the dancing is incredible. They're like dancing around on like this rooftop platform, and there's like clothes like blowing in the wind. And as they like do their dance, and as they're dancing around, like the clothes move up and down with the dance. It's incredible.
That was pretty cool. I know you guys, I say this every time, but maybe I'll watch it. I might. It seems visually spectacular.
It
Was
is
that a
fun.
review?
It's like a stage musical, but filmed.
I like it.
It's very visually spectacular.
My review, visually spectacular. Dan's review, it's fun.
It brought me giggles.
I giggled. Okay, so let's see. Where are we here? So our initial montage, birthday
after the montage,
thingy, shadows.
He gets fired, but now he's got big dreams, so he goes to the bank to get a loan. But at the bank, he sees a little person. And then the wheels started turning, and he goes, how can I exploit this person for profit?
Exactly. It's big brain time. Like. As soon as you see the little person, he's like, okay, are there other freaks beside the little person? How can I monopolize on this?
This is bizarre, and I'm not sure. Is this right?
It's handled not so delicately, but in an empowering way, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
sure.
That's like the first strike is like, it's like P.T. Barnum. By the way, this guy's name is Phineas T. Barnum.
What?
Finn for short. No, just so you know, we haven't even established what his name was. I don't think.
And that's
his
the
name's
Barnum. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Can we get into this detail of now this Barnum thing? Like, what does that mean?
That's his last name. That's what it means.
That's his name.
It?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
this
a real.
isn't about
He's a real
person?
person. He is
He
a real
was
person.
a real person.
P.T. Barnum
Living.
was a historical real person. Yes.
Yeah.
Why are you getting upset with me, Will?
Do you not know history,
Alenka?
What did he do? Okay, fine. Tell me at the end of the movie, I guess.
This movie is what he did.
Here.
Exactly.
Fine. He exploited people.
It's not like he like cured cancer. This movie's about his early life. Like, this movie definitely documents what he did.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's getting a loan, and then he buys this big building and he calls it Barnum's Museum of Curiosities.
Yeah.
That
And-
sounds a little familiar.
It might be a little familiar. And he fills it with like wax figures and like a big giraffe and a thief who like can steal stuff.
Like, just a thief to be around. That he's
Just a pickpocket that he met. Yes.
Yeah, that's actually
like,
what
hey, I'm
happens
gonna
in the
get people
movie.
to buy a ticket. Could you pick their pockets like while they're here?
Well,
That's
the
weird.
complication is that nobody buys tickets. That's the complication. And it
Oopsie.
starts to fail. And then there's a scene where his daughters are super mean to him, and they're like, "Dad, why don't you put living things in it?" And he's like, "Oh, that's a good idea." And they're like, "Yeah, that's so much better than what you're doing right now."
But he had a
Just a little
pickpocketer. That's a
passive-aggressive.
living thing.
You are right. The pickpocket is a living thing.
And big giraffe. That's a thing. No.
That's a dead thing, but still a thing. Agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So this is where he goes, oh, I know what to put in my curiosities. The little man.
Makes sense.
So he shows up at this dude's house. He lives with his mother.
Yeah.
And asks for him. Also, so this actor is completely voiced over. Like they don't use
Why?
his actual voice.
And
I don't
it's
know.
so awkward. It's
It is.
Why'd
so
they do
apparent.
that?
Because his voice is so deep. It's like, hey, why don't you? And it's also, he acts so, like, the voiceover artist is so bad. Because he's always, like, making jokes. And it's the most, like, cringe-worthy part of the movie.
And
in
it's
my
very,
opinion.
like, he's kind of got, like, a New York accent. And it's really... And, like, also, this actor was also not, like, the correct height for, like... Because this is based on a real person, this little person. So that actor also had to be on his knees. And I'm just like, God damn, why not just hire a shorter actor?
Yeah, it's a little person who they made act on his knees. It's unprecedented in cinema. They doubled down.
I feel like that is so
Literally.
much more work than it had to be for them. Like, why on earth this guy? Do you think it was his dad that was the producer or something? Like
No,
his,
this guy is like
relative?
this guy is a full adult. Like he's in his 20s. This actor.
Yes, and I'm saying, do you think his real life dad was part of the writing committee or something? And they're like, my son really would like a part in this movie if we could make that happen. But like his real
say
voice
no.
is probably like,
Yeah,
I can't either. Like I see no reasons as to why.
it could be true.
It's for sure.
But he goes to this little guy's house, and then
Little
he
guy.
basically says, is that appropriate? I don't know. And then he says, they're all laughing at you anyway. You might as well get paid. Is basically what it is.
That's his
Honestly,
motivation
like,
right there.
Yeah. It's like word for word what he says to him. Because he's like,
Businessman.
people are mean to me. I don't know if I want to put myself out there. He's like, hey, man, let them laugh. Get money. And he agrees.
Fuck it. Hey.
Because basically he tells like, I picture Napoleon on a horse charging through battle. Like that's what he pictures this guy to be in his show that he's creating.
That's a good sell. That is a good sell for that guy.
So
it would
it's like
sell me.
Yeah. So there's basically two main freaks that they really introduce like in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's him, and then he goes. He goes to this like it's like a washing house where women are washing clothes.
Yeah.
And he hears the most beautiful voice singing in the back, and he like pulls across the clothes, and it's a woman with a full beard.
It looks like Will, but a woman.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kiala Settle. That's the actress name. She's very wonderful, by the way.
Yeah, she's incredible in this movie. But she has a beard, and everybody's like, oh, you don't want to go back there. And he pulls open the curtain, and he's like, you're wonderful. I want you in the show. And she joins the show, and now he has his two prime headliners.
Yeah,
and
it wouldn't be a circus without the bearded lady, for sure.
No,
exactly.
No.
Yeah.
And he does like an open casting call. It's very fun. All the freaks come out, and he meets...
And yet another montage happens during this casting call.
But this one without a musical number. This is just a montage.
Oh, it is a montage, yeah.
Yeah.
The montage happens after. Sorry, the musical happens just after this, yeah.
Yes. Okay, he meets Dog Boy. He meets the Irish Giant.
Who's Russian.
Who's Russian. He meets a very obese man who he who else does he meet? He meets
he meets a black brother and sister.
Oh yes.
Because it's all these freaks, but then also some black people who are trapeze artists. But
I feel like that's they were like, we need to get just a little bit more diversity in this movie. Let's throw in this black couple, but we definitely just can't have them be freaks because of that. They do trapeze. Let's just say they do trapeze.
I have a problem with the definition of freaks in this movie, because some of them
100%.
are freaks. Like Dog Boy is covered in hair on his face. Like
that's a real disease, you guys.
Yeah, that guy
Not
freaky. Sensitive. But like bearded lady, first of all, everybody's like, oh, you don't know if you want her. She's a freak. Couldn't she shave like a man does every day and not have that giant beard that she's sporting at the beginning of the movie? That's my first question.
She don't care.
Now, Dan, you're just oppressing bearded ladies now.
I mean,
they
let
should
them
be able to let their beard grow. You're forcing
should.
them to shave.
That's
my
what this
God.
chick did, though. That's what she did. She didn't
I-
care. She
but
was like, "Fuck
everybody's
it,
so
I'll work in the back.
embarrassed
I don't
by
like these
her."
bitches
Yeah.
anyway."
Yeah.
She's not.
That's true. That's true.
She's like,
but
"Fuck
there's-
some peace and quiet."
But there's also like, the trapeze artists are just like lower class people who seem to
Sure.
be normal people, just black.
They are very.
Just
Yeah.
very well balanced.
There's also like later in the movie we see like two fake Siamese twins, so they pretend to be Siamese, but they're just two Asian dudes. I'm like, they're not freaks. They're just two Asian dudes.
Oh, do they pretend? I thought they were real Siamese twins.
I think they pretend. That might not be distinguished, but he,
Well,
P.T.
Yeah.
Barnum's playing loose and fast with the rules of freaks. And so
It's
some of
true.
these people are freaks and some of them are just normal people pretending to be freaks.
Yeah,
And,
it sounds to me like he just wants a quick buck either way.
It's
He doesn't
true,
care.
like it
it's
is
about the
true.
show, and
it's
everybody
true
knows
in
show
real
business.
life. Not
is
in
fake.
this movie. In this
Yes.
movie, it's more or less he wants to help these people while also making a name for himself. But he's so genuine about how much he wants to help them. You know, he's like, "Dare I say you're beautiful?" to the bearded lady, and he motivates them, and he's supposed to be this great guy, which he probably wasn't.
Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
in real life, he's a businessman monster. And in this movie, they add Hugh Jackman's charm to it, and he seems like an all right guy.
Love
You summed it up
Hollywood.
better than I could. So basically, he assembles the Avengers of freaks,
Yeah.
and
Fuck.
and then they're gonna have his first big show. He's selling tickets. He's got basically like Dog Boy and
Mhm.
Irish Giant printed on posters and on merch, and he's selling all this stuff and tickets
On milk bottles.
on milk bottles. Yes.
Nice. That's the way to do it. Get
Yeah.
the word out.
And then the show like happens, and this is kind of then the next is a montage again, a montage after montage. The next montage is kind of the montage of his basically his circus gaining steam, gaining life.
Mhm.
And it's to this song.
Because people love it now.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, this sounds intense.
Because it starts intense because they're all very nervous to go out there, and because they're like worried about how the crowd will perceive them, and so they're all like, and like he stuffs the fat guy's like shirt.
A faker,
and
see?
that's the
Yeah.
that's the whole point, is that he's kind of like bending the truth even more because it's more like about the show rather than they're like actual freaks. And they put the tall guy on stilts.
Exactly.
Every time, you guys.
Do you not like this song, Alenka? Like, be honest here.
Yeah, every time the music starts, I'm like, sweet, it's gonna be a fucking musical song, and then it's some poppy thing, and I don't know what to do about it.
It is like the most pop music. It's like burn your light, let it burn so bright. Like, that's prime pop music. I think the key to it though is the dancing. Like, the dancing is incredible in this movie. It's like it feels super basic, but it like is iconic at the same time. Like, I feel like every song could be a TikTok dance.
It's true.
Interesting. I hate TikTok. I do hate it.
Alenka,
Great.
like, honestly, do you not like that song? Like, that song's great.
Okay. So here's the thing. It's just that you guys are describing this movie, and in my head, I'm like, this is a musical. This is gonna be a sick musical number, and then it just starts really poppy, and I'm like, disappointed. But then I'll just listen to the song, and I'm like, yes, this is catchy. It's pop. That's fine. I don't dislike the songs. It's just within the context, I feel weird about it.
I think next week, when you record the next podcast, I think you will come back and be like, I dismissed the songs initially, but I've listened to them all week long, and this is an incredible album.
I am telling you, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I watched the movie, and then I literally just listened to the soundtrack on Spotify for days after.
It's really funny that you guys think I'm gonna watch any of the movies.
You don't even have to. Just listen to the soundtrack.
Also, we didn't say before that one of the trapeze artists is played by
Their siblings.
Zendaya.
All right.
Do you know who plays
So?
the other sibling?
I don't.
Zendaya's real sibling.
It's Zendaya's dad. No, it's this actor named. Oh man, I have to look it up now. So his name's like Yaya. Oh my god, I feel so bad now. Hold on, let me look it up.
Yaya.
I can't just go ahead and say his name's Yaya without any proof here. But he was he's in the new like Jordan Peele movie. He played a Dr. Manhattan on the new Watchmen show. He's like blowing up right now. And I had no idea that Yahya Abdul Mateen II. And I had no idea he's like the person with no lines in this movie who just like looks stern at his sister.
He's got like a couple lines basically, but
this is the movie that blew him up though.
I think so. This is his rise to fame.
He put that on his IMDb and BD, IM whatever, and they were like, "Whoa!"
Well, once he updated his LinkedIn, everybody in Hollywood wanted him.
Yeah. Exactly.
You were trapeze artist number 2 in The Greatest Showman.
All right, you have my attention.
So where were we in this movie?
So the circus is a success.
Business is booming.
Yeah, the circus is a success, but PT is not. Him and his family are still not accepted in high society. They see his show as crass and low class, even though he's got a huge house now. He bought this giant ass house. His girls are going to ballet school, and he's got all the money in the world. High class New York society still doesn't accept him, and that's what he really wants. He wants to be accepted by basically people like Charity's parents who never accepted him.
Exactly. You guys know why that is, right? Because of his childhood trauma. Okay.
Yeah, because he's a poor little shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think at this point he meets Philip Carlyle, right, Will?
He does indeed,
cool
Dan.
Name.
Oh my god. Philip Carlyle, played by Alenka, prepare yourself, Zac Efron.
Oh, fuck off.
What? Oh, no. What?
You wanted this. Okay, you wanted this to be a musical, and we got.
What is this type of character? Okay, but we have Zac Efron playing what type of character?
A
Philip Carlyle.
Yeah, who is a high class playwright who he's like a rich boy, and his play is not doing well. He's also kind of in show business, and Hugh Jackman offers him a role on his circus as like a producer.
Okay.
And I think this scene where he offers him money, which is Alenka, in fact, a musical number, is the best musical number in the film. I love it.
It's the only musical number.
I like memorized all the lyrics. They're at a bar, so it all takes place in a bar. And the bartender's like slamming down shots. They're like bartering. They're drinking. Maybe we can play a segment of it because like
I think I recall Dan saying he memorized the song, so I would actually really love to hear.
You want me to do it?
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
Okay, Alenka.
It would not be a haven't seen it first for our guest to sing. So
okay. Can you play me the first like 5 seconds to get me in the headspace, and I'll just pick it up?
Do you want me to play the karaoke version of the song? Or?
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, let's do it. The Other Side karaoke version.
I will.
So this movie is called The Other Side.
The movie's called The Greatest Showman, and
sorry,
you know that.
I said this musical. This musical number is what I meant.
You've had too many gin and tonics, Alenka. This movie is called The Greatest Showman.
The musical number is called
The Other Side, I think, or Other Side, something like that.
It's the other side, and I got the YouTube video up for.
Oh, perfect! Here we go. I'm ready. Ready, Alenka? Right here, right now, I put the offer out. I don't want to chase you down. I know you see it. You run with me, and I can cut you free out of the judgery and walls you keep in. So trade that typical for something colorful. And if it's crazy, live a little crazy. You can play it sensible, a king of conventional, or you can leave it all in C. Don't you wanna get away from the same old part you gotta play? Cause I got what you need, so come on and take the ride. It'll take you to the other side, so you can do what me do, or you can do like me. Stay in the cage and you'll finally take the key. Oh, damn, suddenly you're free to fly. I'll take you to the other side. You know, Alenka, this song's a bop, man.
That was fantastic. I got a real feel for you were impersonating Hugh, obviously.
Yeah, that was no Zach. My Zach voice is 100% different.
Way different, for sure. No, I could tell by that performance.
Yeah.
That was
That's
Hugh
another
Jackman,
thing
baby.
is that like Hugh Jackman is like a musical actor. He's not like a pop star. So every song he sings is still really musical. But then
Yes.
Zac Efron's got this like poppy voice when he sings. So they kind of mesh a little weird in the song, but
And so this is a duet. So Zach eventually
it
jumps
is
in.
a duet. Yeah.
Nice.
He jumps in with the
Nice.
second verse. You know, they barter back and it actually it is a negotiation of a song. They barter percentages of the show back and forth at the end of the song.
and he's basically Zach singing like he's not convinced. He likes his comfortable, high class, like privileged lifestyle.
Yeah.
But so why should he like give that all up to work at his circus? Basically,
Why does he want him to?
Well, you can finally live a little, finally try a little, finally.
That's it. He's just like, well, I mean, it's fun, man. Go
Hugh's
on.
just being motivational. He's like, you could be your own man, basically.
I truly think that's the argument. He's like, hey, this is pretty fun over here, man. Check it out.
Check me out.
This guy, this Philip guy is just like he's just a rich boy, and that's it. And
He's a rich, pretty boy.
And he's in show business. He's like a theater person.
He's basically saying like this is a little bit more fun than the stuff you're already doing. Because
basically,
so he's a poet. So he's like, oh, okay, so maybe he's just doing stage renditions of his poems all the time. Snooze alert! Why don't you hang upside down from the chandelier? Try that for once.
Well,
honestly,
funny
like
you say something like that.
Well, the way I just said
spoilers.
it. Shut up. Does he do that?
Something similar, and you'll find out.
Shut your
very
mouth. God, circuses have so many tropes, it's ridiculous. Go on, boys.
Well, so basically, and the reason why Hugh wants Philip, or PT wants Philip, is that Philip represents high class society. So he feels like if he gets Philip on board, then he can get the rest of high class society to accept the circus as something that's that can be higher class.
It adds an element of prestige to his freak show, as others might call it. Also, at the same time, there's this critic who's like being really mean to PT Barnum.
Like jackass.
Like truly, he's a real asshole. So he like goes to the show and then he writes like the meanest review about how it's no good. And PT Barnum being a real a salesman, he posts it like in all the newspapers so people come and see a show.
They get a half price ticket if they bring the review
His
with
review.
them.
Yeah.
Classic.
And also in the review, he calls the whole show a circus, and then that gives Barnum the idea to call it a circus. He hasn't called it a circus yet.
What has he called it? Just
like a
interest
show of
thing.
Curiosities or something.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
Which brings us to a really great point. If you leave a 1-star review of this show on Apple Podcasts, you actually get $5 back.
From the whoa.
Honestly, just leave any review. We want to hear if you're listening at all, to be honest.
And we'll give you joy and curiosity.
Oh my god.
And giggles.
Well, not let's this is all not
So
guaranteed.
Philip at the end of this I have to say so they're in this bar and this is where this musical number is happening. The bartender is fucking working it. I was like watching him the whole time. He's also in the dance number. There's basically 3 people in this kind of song and dance, except the bartender doesn't sing. He's just dancing and passing them drinks, but he's working it hard.
What do you mean by working it?
Oh, he's just like spinning and dancing on the bar and then passing them drinks, and it's like he
Because
should
what
get some credit too.
He's pouring shots. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Alenka.
Yeah, so what I envision is like this guy, like in a vest, a black vest, maybe like a bow tie, and I like envision a lot of, for some reason, grinding on the bar, a lot of like of the worm type of thing, a lot of hips. I don't know why, but I
It's not a
envision
Coyote
lot
Ugly.
of hips. This is what I envision though, and I'm wrong.
Do you envision any? Well, first of all, the vest is 100% correct.
Nice.
Does he have a mustache in your vision, Alenka?
Ooh, no, he didn't. I didn't.
Well,
think
he
he'd be
does in
that
the
fun.
movie.
What kind of mustache? Does it twirl or
Yes, a real curly one.
curled on the ends? Okay, so
Yeah.
he convinced this guy to join him.
Oh,
Zac
Philip
Efron.
Carlisle? Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah.
For,
And
for
the
10%
end
of
of the
profits.
musical number, he sees Zendaya, and it's love at first sight.
Zac Efron
And-
and Zendaya.
Zac Efron sees Zendaya just like floating on her trapeze thing, and she like extends out to him, and he
Sure.
locks eyes with her, and he's like, hot, you're the one.
You're the only hot one in this freak show.
Hot. Yeah, probably though.
I have a
Okay.
crush on Dog Boy and you are the one I choose.
No, I think it would have been more like heartfelt if he was like had an affair with the bearded lady.
Yeah, that would actually be like kind of into the themes of loving
God.
people despite how they look.
I wish
Yeah.
Hollywood just wasn't so predictable and just let Zac Efron, a little gorgeous stud, fall in love with a bearded lady.
I know.
Come on.
It's sad. It's sad to see.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
he's got Philip on board, and basically Philip gets an in with the Queen, the Queen Victoria.
He's that high up.
Apparently,
Well, he pulls a couple favors, but yeah, they do get to go across the Atlantic.
yeah.
to see
Which
the
this
Queen.
movie moves so fast.
This is absurd.
Like, how many years, Alenka, do you think this movie has covered so far?
Starting from the kids, like, oh boy, like 20 to 30 for sure.
It has to be, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
That's
it has
obscene.
to take like
30
6
probably.
months to cross the Atlantic.
I know.
Like-
It's
True.
that's a long ass boat ride.
I'm saying 30 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
And the
All
whole
in
crew
montage.
comes. The whole freak show comes to the Queen's palace.
The queen was like, yeah, bring on the freaks.
Yeah.
Truly,
Wow.
yeah. In the movie, she is.
But in real
Mhm.
life, did they?
In real life, I think
that's true.
I read that they went, but it was only P.T. Barnum. It wasn't like all the freaks
Right.
with him,
That makes sense.
which makes
mean, it
sense
still
because they
doesn't
have
make
to
sense, but it makes
perform.
sense.
They have to perform. Like they're running
Yeah,
a,
they've got
like a
sold-out
circus. Yeah.
He can have a meeting, I think.
No, but the freaks couldn't go.
No.
They got to work, baby.
They gotta
Well,
dance
right,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
ring.
Sounds awful.
It does sound like an
So-
intense way to live, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Like
Dance
That's
for
another
your
thing.
money.
They don't have lives. This is their lives. Like,
no, because
Okay,
there's
but
multiple
who's to
points in the
argue?
movie where he tells them like, "You got a show in 2 hours. You got to get back." Which is like none of them have the nice houses that he bought. None of them have like the beautiful families that he has. He's exploiting.
How
these
exactly are they
freaks.
portraying this character in a good light? If it's obvious he's taking like 80% of the profit for himself.
I mean, because they still portray his, I guess, his like deeper intentions as being to like give people confidence and hope. So that's why it gets a little
So
weird.
monetary value for them is not a big deal. It's just,
Yeah.
you know what? I instilled some confidence in them, so that's fine by me.
Yeah.
So they're in England.
They are.
They're
meeting
chatting with the Queen.
Yes.
Okay.
And the little guy has a fun joke. He makes a
Yeah.
little quip at the Queen.
What does he say?
Well, she looks at the little guy. She's like, "It's like I thought you would be. Oh no, I've heard you were shorter than that."
And he says, "You don't reach the top of the shelf either, sister," or something like that.
Or like, lady, like
I
New York.
don't get it.
And then they all like go, because he just insulted the queen, and then the
Yeah.
queen just like does that old rich laugh.
And then everybody else goes.
Why is that an insult? I don't get it.
I don't get it either, and it's really not a funny joke. But like, I
He
don't know
talked
if the
back
guy
to the queen. you know,
exactly.
so
I don't know if
he's
the guy who
spicy.
voiced over the little guy like was just
Got it
riffing
wrong.
or whatnot, but like,
It doesn't
wanna
match
see
the
the-
mouth at all.
Yeah, I want to see the blooper reel of like what he said, just different takes. He's just like, what should I
Yeah.
say to this?
That'd be amazing.
just have fun with it. Just try a couple lines.
Don't worry about what the mouth looks like it's saying. Just say what you want. Okay, so they've insulted the queen. That she's like, "That's cool. That's fine. I like this group of hoodlums.
Mhm.
Show me a show." Yes.
No, she
No.
does
Okay.
not.
Okay.
She
This is-
sees no show. But
Oh,
we basically enter
why the fuck
second
are they there then?
to say hello, Alenka, as you would do to the queen. Anyone would.
to give the show, Barnum's show, like higher status, like a oh, they went to the queen, then it must be
Okay.
a respectable show.
Mhm,
Sure.
mhm.
Gotcha.
It's all
But-
about status, you know.
Exactly. That's what this whole movie comes down to. Is about building up status, how people
On-
see you.
On the backs of freaks.
Exactly. Exactly. But this like basically brings about the second half of the movie because they meet this lady named Jenny Lind, I believe her name is.
Yes.
And she's like a very famous European opera singer. And P.T. Barnum like introduces himself to her, and he's like, "Hello, I want to produce your show. I've never heard you sing, but that's okay." And then basically, I think we cut to like him doing that
No.
show, right?
Yeah, they kind of cut right to this movie moves fast after this point, so
I was saying it seems like it's gone through quite a fair bit quickly.
oh yeah. It does kind of pretty much go right to this show that Barnum has set up in New York with Jenny Lind to basically introduce America to Jenny Lind.
Who's Jenny Lind?
This is that opera singer that we were just talking about.
Okay.
And as P.T. Barnum walks out the door, he's like, "Well, I hope she's good at singing. I've never heard her sing before," which is crazy
So
to
why?
put the money up.
So she was what? Well advertised as an opera singer somewhere, or
Yeah, she has a reputation as the
Okay.
greatest singer in Europe. Yeah,
She also
then,
met
of
the
course.
queen. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's valid.
exactly.
Is it
So-
smart? No, but valid.
So then she comes on stage and drops this not opera song, but yet another
Pop song.
fantastic song. Fantastic.
I thought you were
It's
gonna say she
absolutely
comes on the stage and
incredible.
drops it.
Alenka, if you do not cry, yeah, she just says fuck. If you do not
But-
cry at this song, you are not a human being.
We're looking for tears now.
Imagine how many Instagram views we'll get if you cry at this song, Alenka. Do you hear that plucky piano?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Because she's an opera singer.
I mean, this is an opera, but like, still.
It's also not musical either.
She's just classically trained. That's all.
Also not this actress's voice.
No, not at all.
So much extra work they did. So much. Why didn't they cast appropriately? Who did the casting for this movie? Predictable. Classic pop song.
Like, truly, I'm just jiving. This is so good. Never be enough.
Greedy bitch. This actually sounds like a very familiar song. Trying to think of what song this is.
It's this song.
No.
Yeah.
If any of you guys listening know it's fucking
this
not.
good song.
If any of our viewers know what pop song this is actually ripped from, please comment. Because
Is it
I know
Poker
it's
Face by Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga.
I could listen to this song every day. This song is so good.
I swear to God, this is from something. All right, Will.
It's from The Greatest Showman, the greatest goddamn movie in the world. Alenka.
Okay, so what's his nuts is now scared of he's upsetty spaghetti about his freaky geekies.
Yeah. Honestly, you summed it up pretty well there. Yes.
What? Because she performs on stage and he's like, oh.
No. She performs on stage, or she's about to perform on stage, and Philip comes back and he's like, oh, the crew is here. Where should I seat them? And he's like, ooh. He's like, my box is a little visible. You know what? They should be in the standing room only because the acoustics are better there anyway. It'll be a better show. But it's basically, he's like, I want them out of sight because he doesn't want to tarnish this new venture that he's going to start.
Because this is like a real posh upper class venture, right? Versus the freaks.
He doesn't care about these people. I don't care what you guys say. He doesn't.
No, but then he does.
No, he doesn't.
He will at the end of the movie, Alenka.
Yeah, probably because somebody fucking dies or something, and he's like, "Oh, I feel bad." Oh, okay.
And then, so then she performs, and he's like enamored by her. He's like staring off the wings, and again, it's like, and then his wife is in the audience, and he is like looking at him, even though she would not be able to tell what the fuck his face looks like from that far away. Anyway, she can see him in the wings, like staring at her. Not like he's in love with her voice. He's enamored with what she could bring him.
He's just fascinated, sure. Oh, yeah. Yes. And he's like, ooh, dollar signs, dollar signs.
He likes to use people, and he's willing to use her as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the charm of Hugh Jackman, as we pointed out, it's cool. It's fun.
It's cute. It's
That's
cute to
bullshit.
be used by Hugh.
You guys, you can't say, oh, this guy's handsome, so I'm totally fine with bending over for this guy. Not acceptable.
So now it's after the show. There's like a party, and all of high class society is there. And we also find out that Charity's parents show up, and they finally accept him, and we find out that they haven't seen their grandchildren ever.
They have no idea. Hugh Jackman's like, these are your grandchildren, and he says it in such a snide way, and they're like, what?
Wow.
And they live down the road from them.
Exactly. That's a point earlier in the movie that they bought a house close to her parents.
But I mean, why are you guys laughing? Like, these people did not accept him at all, so they probably disowned their daughter. Despite having moved close to them, they were like, we want nothing to do with you. And now that this guy's got money and shit, they're like, okay. And then, of course, they're surprised. They're like, oh, we haven't kept contact with these people for like 15 years. Of course we have grandchildren.
Well, you nailed the nail on the head right there.
I nailed the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I understand human dynamics.
Well, do you understand this? The freaks try and get in.
To the party.
As they should. They're the performers.
Well, not in the concert.
Not for this show.
But exactly. But they're his friends. They're his friends. And he basically like shuts the door on them, and it's like, hey, guys, you got a show in 2 hours. Get going. Get lost. And he shuts the door, and it's
real quick. Is that his go-to every time? He's just like, nah, you guys have a show in 2 hours. 2 hours.
That's because he's working them to the bone.
Get out of here.
Yeah. He doesn't pay them. He just, he pays them in confidence boosting.
Yeah. I hate this guy.
But anyway, he shuts the door on Letty. Letty, by the way, is the name of the bearded lady. We didn't say that.
Oh my God. That's incredible. I had no idea.
So
Letty.
You didn't know?
No, I don't think they name her at all in the movie.
They do. I think so. Yeah. Letty Lutz.
Really?
Yeah.
Letty Lutz?
Yeah. That's her name. Not a real person, but based on a combination of two different people, two different bearded ladies.
What? Because one was a man with a beard and one was a woman that was working in the laundry facility?
So he slams the door on her, and then this arguably the most famous song from the movie.
When he slams the door, does it get caught in her beard? Does she get stuck by the beard?
There's a 5-minute scene of her getting herself unstuck from the door.
It's really, really tense. Yeah.
The Siamese twins use all 4 of their limbs to fucking. All right. So then he slams the door, and then this inspirational hit fucking drops, and it's fantastic.
You guys keep saying this, but I hate every song that plays in this stupid musical.
They're so good at Link It. You have no idea what you're talking about. Here we go.
I know how this song goes. Can I ask, while this song's happening, are they pushing through the doors and like getting into that party?
Yes, exactly.
Good, because that's what it sounds like.
They burst through the doors.
They have to.
Yeah, they burst through the doors, and they're like singing at all the people, and all the people are like, "Oh my god!" And then they end up like marching in the street, doing like a dance march.
With the people from the party, or just the
no, it's kind of like cuts, and they're because earlier in the movie we didn't say this, but early in the movie there is a group of people who are like fighting with the freaks and tell them like, "Get out of our town, freaks!" Like they don't like the freaks.
When they came to England.
No, this is like in New York. This is like outside the theater where they do their show. So they march through those people who are like basically protesting this freak show. But then they back in their circus ring. And then there's a moment where like the beat drops and everyone's like in the air and it's like frozen in time.
Dubstep.
Yeah.
And
it's
it like
incredible.
zooms in on Letty and she does this like emotional ballad part of the song.
Wait, what's her name again? Letty Lutz?
Letty Lutz.
Letty Lutz. Letty Lutz. Letty Lutz.
Come on.
Is that Leddy or
Lettie?
IE?
No
that was my
way.
next guess. Ugh! Got him,
Double
bitches.
T's IE? My God.
I'm pretty sure.
I was thinking double TIE. 100%.
Wait, I think I might be
Lutz
wrong.
being LUTZ.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
LUTZ.
LUTZ?
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
Nice.
Got him.
Alenka may not know movies, but she know how to spell.
So basically, it's again another montage. They march through the party, they march through the streets, and then they're in the theater, and they're like, "We're gonna keep doing our show, and we're gonna stand up for our self-esteem without getting paid."
Oh, really?
It's
No,
beautiful,
say
Alenka.
But they're not getting paid. Like they're gonna do
I
a
think
show
they
and
are.
not get paid.
They are getting paid.
They're getting
probably,
paid.
probably a little bit of money.
I mean, that's his whole talking point. Is
little
like
bit.
people are laughing. Why don't you get paid for it?
Yeah, earn a
So-
buck.
Honestly, what
Yeah.
a jackass. He's literally probably just like, hey, here's $1. And they're like,
Well,
well, I guess
truly,
it's more
yeah.
than
I will-
people didn't like just fucking
I will say,
anything.
this movie had like a big table read for producers before
Mhm.
like they filmed, and there's some behind the scenes footage. And this song is like, if you don't cry listening to just the regular song, watching this table read of it is emotional.
It'll
You can
break your heart.
see-
Yeah,
Have you seen it, Dan? Have you seen
I-
that YouTube?
I
table
have
read?
seen it because that's the one where Hugh Jackman had like skin cancer in his nose. So they like he has
Yeah.
like 9 stitches in his nose, and his doctor was like, "You can't sing. You can't sing. Don't sing at this table read." And he gets in there, and the bearded lady, I mean, obviously Letty Lutz,
Kiala Settle.
is
Nah,
absolutely
Letty.
incredible. She's singing, and then Hugh Jackman jumps in, and man, our hearts drop. The tears ring out. You know, it's beautiful.
It's super
Wow.
beautiful. She's like crying. That's how deep these actors get into it.
But I'm sorry. Never mind. You guys, the lyrics aren't good.
All right. Okay.
Sure,
I guess we'll take
okay,
your word for it, Miss
yeah.
Movie Producer.
I'm not
The whole
I'm
world
just-
would beg against you, but okay, Alenka.
It's just like Lady Gaga writes a better, like, I'm serious. Lady Gaga writes a better song about accepting yourself than just saying, it's me, it me, it me, it me, it me. Like,
That's
Come
fair.
on, you guys.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
Yeah,
But not everybody can be Lady Gaga. Like,
Yeah, you're comparing like one super sensational
No,
movie
no,
musical to one
no.
extra super sensational pop
No,
star.
No.
It's kind
I'm
of like
comparing pop
Macintosh
music, which
apples
is
to
what-
like Granny Smith apples. I don't know.
that's unfair.
No, lyricism's not dependent on like who. It's a musical. They want it to be like emotional. They could have put a little bit more thought into the music instead of genuinely just writing a pop song.
Well, just wait until you hear these other emotional pop songs that are going to come up.
Fine.
So one thing we didn't mention was during the Never Enough song during that performance by
Yeah.
Jenny,
She just
Zac
wanted more.
Efron, like
Zephron, as he will be from
yes.
henceforth.
Troy
Philip.
Bolton in our heart.
Who's that?
He walks up next to Zendaya and they like hold hands. Because that's 18th century making out. And then he sees his parents are in the crowd and they look back and see them holding hands and he immediately lets go and like kind of like is embarrassed by it because he doesn't want his parents to see him, falling in love with a commoner.
Which is like,
Sure.
Philip, nobody can see you holding hands anyway.
It's a dark theater.
Yeah, your
Mhm.
parents definitely did not see you holding hands with a woman.
They could have.
Yeah. And then she walks away all mad. So
Mhm.
at the end of This Is Me, she is like dancing in the circus and she looks up at Philip, who's like in the offices of the theater. And, their relationship is on the rocks at this point.
Okay.
The whole,
Mhm.
we're
And
entering the
yeah.
climax.
They've actually been established as like they're no longer crushing on each other. They have some sort of relationship.
Well,
romantic
yes, they're holding
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah, that's the
Well.
relationship.
relationship.
They fucking
babe,
get off
you
on
wanna
holding
go?
hands. They're like,
You
they're
wanna
like,
go in the alley?
ugh.
Yeah, you should have seen Philip smile ear to ear, baby.
Ew.
So yeah, so then now PT is leaving for a an American tour of Jenny Lind. He's leaving the circus. He's leaving Philip in charge of it, basically.
Yeah,
So he just wants to basically produce this opera singer.
Yeah.
he's obsessed
That's
with
what he's doing
class.
now.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
trying to gain stature in society. It's
Mhm.
sad, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%.
It's not about the money. It's about being accepted.
But it's also
by
about
society.
the money. It's also about
but
the
you-
money, though.
Okay, do you see how great this? It's like he wants
Do
to be
you
accepted
see
by
he's
society,
still taking
just
profit
like the
from the
freaks.
circus?
Just like the freaks. He wants to be accepted by society. It's the same story, but he's just really good looking.
But it is
Exactly.
like exactly. Well, it gets down to like systemic oppression. Like
Yes.
he's on the same level as these freaks, but because
He's not, though, either.
white
He's
and
not.
abled, he's able to get past it and become a
No,
businessman and exploit the
absolutely not.
freaks.
No. That is not 100% no. He's white and abled, sure. So maybe his starting point is different from theirs. But the matter of the fact is he joins a business with them and he exploits them. So
Yeah.
he benefits himself. He's not like he if he was trying to give everyone an equal starting place, he would have given everyone even Steven. He would have been like, all right, cool. I take this percentage, you take the same percentage.
I agree.
He off the bat, he fucked them off the bat. He didn't give them anything more. Like, yes, he gave
I mean, we
them...
don't know what their contracts was really, but
No, but we do know that he bettered himself off it. Like he
Yeah.
put
Mhm.
money in his own pocket first.
Dog Boy is not living in a beautiful mansion.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Living in the doghouse.
short guy did not give calf enhancements. It's like
No.
He's
Oh my
still
God.
keeping them right where they started, basically.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
working them to the bone. And I guarantee you, while he's off producing Opera Bitch, he's still taking the money from each show.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
true. He needs them to need
That's
him.
capitalism, bitches.
Yeah. That's why this podcast is sponsored by Bernie Sanders 2020.
Exactly.
Feel the burn.
So he leaves on the tour. His wife is also like, I don't know.
Is she
about
nervous?
this.
She's nervous because he
She's
thinks she's
nervous.
gonna cheat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't mention, but Jenny Lind is also stereotypically very attractive.
Sure.
So,
But people
Sure.
are like, hey, P.T. Barnum, why do you have to go? You don't have to go. You could just organize the tour and let her sing. And he's like, I have to go with her. I have to hop on the train.
Hop
have
on
to
her.
go.
Eh,
Yes. So,
yeah.
stuff happens, but basically there is a scene.
Plot points occur.
Zendaya goes to the theater because she has a ticket left for her by PT. But there's actually 2 tickets because Zac Efron wants to take her to the show in the theater. He wants to be seen in public with her because he feels really bad about not
It's a
holding
cute
her hand.
date. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
And his
Yep.
parents are there as well, and they're like, Philip, how can you be seen fraternizing with the help?
Okay.
Which is just code
I
for
have-
N-word. But
I have such a
Right.
problem
I was gonna
with
say,
this.
you
Yeah.
know they aren't saying this because she works in the circus, right? Like you know why they're saying this.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she's also wearing such a beautiful gown. She looks like she belongs in this world. And her parents are like, not with this black woman. And it's all about race. I swear to God, there's a
it
whole
is.
racial
Yeah.
undertone. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. Well, that's why. Because actually, when he does hire them as trapeze artists, they say, people aren't going to like to see us on stage. And he's like, I'm expecting that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Again, it's
Good.
Hugh PT. He is empowering black people in this movie
Yeah.
too. He is,
This movie is woke. Let's just say it out loud.
Woke. Let's
This
just
movie
say
is
it
woke.
out loud.
it's the wokest. Okay.
It's so bad.
Uh,
Okay, so they
But-
go to
oh,
this
yeah.
outing together. His parents are like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "No, mom and dad,
Yeah.
I love her."
But
he's
they
not.
insult
No,
her, yeah.
not at all. Because she leaves.
Oh?
Yeah, she
Oh.
runs
and,
away.
then, and then he has to go after her. And so they meet back up in the circus, like the circus ring or whatever. And she's, getting into her trapeze artist. She's sad about everything. And then a musical number occurs.
Obviously.
Oh yeah,
Here we
it's
go.
a love song.
Finally.
And this one-
Want you?
Oh, here we go.
It's not a secret I try to hide.
Hide.
I know you want me.
Sounds like a One Direction song.
It sounds like Maroon 5 to me. Yeah, Alenka, you're killing it, baby.
I know, it's so fucking predictable.
So they're like floating on the trapeze thing, so like going up in the air, spinning around. It's incredible.
He's not trained though.
He's
He's
not.
just
So,
loosey
like,
goosey up there.
if he fell, it would be horrifying.
Yeah. The end of this movie is actually. Oh, I know what happens. So a terrible trapeze accident occurs. Zac Efron lands on his neck, breaks his whole body. Now he's in a wheelchair. Who's the freak now, bitch? So does this mean Zendaya and Zaffron are happy again, or what?
Yeah, they fucking or
Oh,
they just
yeah.
hold hands, but whatever.
But that's like
But they
18th
fucking-
century fucking.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So
Sick.
now another montage. We love these montage.
Like
So
Breaking
it's
Bad.
another montage of basically Hugh touring around with Jenny Lind.
Yeah.
And the montage is over Charity's song. Charity gets a monologue. Charity played by Michelle Williams, by the way, which we didn't mention.
Interesting.
Incredible actress,
Oh,
underused
interesting.
in this movie.
Very
Okay.
much so. She's just like nothing in this movie. She's just
No.
a wife who sings one song.
And
basically.
also, this song is the worst. It's the worst song in the entire movie. I always forget it's in the movie.
Me
it's,
too.
It's not good.
do we want to play it or do we just
Are they
wanna
touring?
skip it?
You skip it. Are they touring
Skip.
Europe or
No,
like
no,
America.
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 She's famous
Okay,
in Europe, and
cool.
he's trying to make her
That's
big
what I
in
thought.
America. Yeah,
cool. Like K-pop.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So basically, Charity sings this song about walking a tightrope, because it's circus themed.
Which is
And-
so obvious.
Which is a metaphor for their
Oh, yeah.
relationship.
Like, a lot of these songs are obvious, but this one is the most obvious of the obvious songs.
Can we please
And
play
I don't
it?
like
'Cause
it.
now I
yeah.
need to know.
Let's give a little taste.
If anyone's going to be the judge of the songs, baby, it's me.
Alenka, if you like this song more than the others, I will kill myself on this cast.
Long for a life that is simple and planned.
This one sounds a little bit more like
Tied
it.
with a ribbon. Some people won't sail the sea because they're safer on land. To follow what's written, but I'd follow you to the great.
I got nothing to say about this song. It's so
Yeah.
basic.
She's just sad that PT's gone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. Whatever. Grow up.
So during the big tour,
Mhm.
PT, she is
Oh my God,
clearly.
you love it.
Yeah, you do. You do like it.
They're pop songs. They get stuck in your head. What do you want from
Whoa!
me? Stomp the musical.
Ladies
All
and gentlemen, this is the moment you waited for.
Whoa!
That's also from something too.
It's from the
I mean, it's a
Greatest
common
Showman,
saying.
Alenka.
No. Okay, whatever.
Sorry, yeah, Will.
So during the tour, it's very clear that Jenny Lind likes PT. She is flirting with him. She is all over him.
Okay.
Also, PT is kind of leading her on, right?
A
like
little
he's
bit,
giving her
yeah.
like lover eyes. He's going on this tour with her when he
That's
isn't.
because he's so in love with her voice and what she
No,
what,
no, no,
what
no,
she
no.
can do. Just like
No.
he is so in love with all his freaks and the beauty within. He's not
No.
sexually in love with them. He's just in love with their
No,
spirits. That's what
actually-
PT
I don't know
Barnum
about
is
that.
at his
No,
core.
no. Did he give his bearded lady love eyes? Did he give his small person
He
love
did.
eyes? No.
He called her
didn't.
beautiful.
That's not love eyes. That's
gave
I'm a
Zephron love
handsome man.
eyes.
I'm a handsome man. You're a like unattractive lady. If I tell you you're beautiful, you'll do whatever the fuck I want. That's what that is.
Oh
Him
my God.
leading her on is his own insecurity. He's like, gee, Willikers, I sure like it when a nice looking girl looks at me funny. I don't give a fuck about my wife at home. I'm just gonna let this ensue because I like attention.
Well, totally. And they're like flirting. And then she makes the first moves and he pulls away. He's like, oh, I don't know about this. I'm like, PT, you built the situation, my boy.
That's what they do, though. That's the point. That's like, this is what he wants. He wants somebody to desire him and be non-accessible for them. That's what he
so
wants.
deep. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. It is. Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
because I understand the human connection.
Well, Alenka, can you guess what happens next?
Don't put me on the spot.
Because she sings
quits.
her
She
number.
quits.
Nah, you're wrong. She sings her number, and
It's
then
a reprise.
as the cameras flash and she's singing "Never Again," blah 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 blah. He walks out. You know, everybody's clapping, and
Alright.
she turns him and she kisses him on the lips
To
On
spite him.
purpose.
To
Yeah.
spite
on
him.
purpose. Yeah, to
Yep.
spite him, and the cameras
She
capture it.
knows.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
Yeah,
better
that's
than
right.
quitting.
Well, the
Fuck
camera
yeah.
doesn't capture it. As we find out later, it's not a photograph.
Yeah, you see these flash bulbs go off, and
I
then
know.
later the newspaper has a drawing of them kissing.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
that's
Hold
what's, like,
on. What
all
came
these flash
first?
bulbs.
The camera or the
also-
printer? What
Well,
came
clearly
first?
there's cameras in this movie, though.
So
Yeah.
clearly the camera was invented first. They took a picture and they're like, shit, how do we get 1 million of these out? You there, artist, draw 1 million of them. We have one original.
Well, also, can't you be like? So she gets mad. I don't remember if this happens next, but she gets mad because she's like, "Oh my god, they printed you kissing this other woman in the newspaper." But can't you be
Michelle.
like, "Yeah, Michelle gets mad at
Well,
you."
wait, we're missing a very big important plot
okay,
point.
yes.
So this is all happening back at Showland. Philip is running the show for the Freak Show,
Oh yeah, this is
And-
giant.
and then at
Philip,
the end of one of the shows, that crowd that we talked about, that protesting crowd, the crowd that doesn't like the Freaks,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
come
they're
in.
so mad.
They call the Zendaya's brother a spook, another name for the N-word, and
Okay.
Like,
And
can
they-
you say that in this PG-13 movie? PG maybe movie?
it's a PG
Is
movie
it?
for sure.
Is it really?
It would
That's why
have
they
to
hold
be.
hands. That's why they
It
hold
has
Yeah.
exactly.
There's no swearing in this movie.
That's why they cast Zac Efron also.
Is
Oh, yeah.
spook is like a horrible word though?
Well, it's like it's a PG
Don't
word
say
for
that.
black people, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
The more you know.
Right.
And then so they start fighting, and all these dudes come and storm them and start fighting them. And the one guy picks up a lantern and throws it, and basically causes the whole theater
On
to blow up
fire.
in flames. Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Fuck
very scary.
you,
Yeah.
Hugh.
And a perfect timing as PT arrives at the train station. He sees the newspaper with the drawing, not the photo, but he puts it away because his wife and children are there and they haven't seen it yet, and they're all happy to see him. But then they hear the ambulance or the firefighters rushing towards the scene, so they follow them, and then they get to the theater and it's on flames. But Philip is still in the theater.
Philip Carlisle, no.
He was knocked out by the ruffians.
Oh.
So Hugh Jackman
yeah.
basically is like, oh my God, I gotta go in. So he like says, like, he nods to his family and then runs into the burning building. And then the ceiling collapses. You know how it is. And then emerging out of the burning building, Hugh Jackman holding Philip Carlisle.
Course. Okay.
Completely redeeming himself.
Yeah.
No, because Carlisle was just another handsome rich boy. Do you really think he would have gone in there if his small boy was in there, or if Dog Boy was in there? Do you really think? No.
Dog Boy would have burned.
Dog Boy would have burned.
Guys,
Like,
listeners,
he's not a-
you think
listeners,
it's a coincidence?
hero.
You think it's a coincidence they put the other most handsome character to burn away so that our heartstrings are like, ugh, but he's so good looking. He has such a future ahead of him. He can have
Listeners-
The
no
rich
babies.
boy? Yeah.
listeners, chime in if you think that he would have ran in for Dog Boy. And you comment, you tell us if you think that he would
wouldn't.
have.
He would
Yeah,
not
we need
have.
to know.
He would have been like, yeah, it's a
We
dog.
need to know.
Treat it like an animal.
So he saves Philip. The theater's burnt down, and
Good.
he is sitting. Basically, he's sitting in the rubble, and the critic comes by. Oh, no. No, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle. Actually, no. Michelle Williams, his wife, is mad at him. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, because she must have seen the picture by now.
Yes.
Great.
Well, she opens the
time.
newspaper and sees this drawing of him
Hold
kissing
on, hold
another
on,
lady.
Hold on, backstep, you guys. So her hubby just runs into a building aflame.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well, gotta pass the time somehow. Let me just grabby poo this newspaper. Oh,
Exactly.
no.
Yes.
How are the stocks doing? Oh my God, my husband's a cheat.
What? All right. So she's upsetty spaghetti.
Yeah, and she takes the kids.
Yeah, she's so upset
with her
that she
to her
leaves.
parents' house.
Yeah.
Sure. She knew it was gonna happen.
Because she knows it's not about him cheating. She's just upset at him for wanting that status, that class status. She's like, I don't care
'Cause
that you
she gave
cheated.
hers
You're
up.
too obsessed with status. Yeah, exactly.
She
She
gave
doesn't care
hers up.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She basically calls him selfish. She's like,
Well,
it's
he
all about
is.
you. Yeah, well,
He is.
100%
So
this man is.
Is she wrong? No.
No.
No, not at all. So he's all sad. He goes to the burning rubble of his theater, and the critic is there.
Yeah.
Good.
Remember the critic, Alenka, from the first
To
minute of this
rub it in.
podcast?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm very excited to see what he says.
Well,
Whoa.
he's yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Will.
No, you
got
go
this.
ahead. You
Oh my
you
God.
got this.
Oh my
I'm
God!
trusting
Thank you,
you.
Will.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
if you
he
fuck
says
this up, Dan, I swear to God.
he says really nice things about P.T. Barnum and says he looks forward to the next one opening whenever he opens up the next building.
Really?
They have a nice moment, Alenka. It's really beautiful.
I know that your circus just burnt to a crisp.
And I know I had a major part in it burning down because I incited hatred towards you in the newspaper.
I'm really looking forward to the next one. So maybe don't make it out of straw next time. Try some of this. It was probably
It
more
was
of
a
a
brick
taunt.
building.
It's probably a taunt. I imagine a tent. Are you sure it wasn't a
No,
tent?
it was a full-on brick building. But you touched
Yeah,
on
you nailed it.
something. Yeah,
You
there
nailed
you go.
what's coming next.
I've seen
So-
this movie.
He goes to the bar again. He's at the bar, all sad.
Mhm.
Same bartender, swinging his hips all around.
I'm pretty sure.
The
Isn't it?
bartender is nowhere to be found, but it's the
there's
same
no
bar.
bartender.
No bartender.
Yeah. And then
Great.
the little man gets up on the bar, walks towards him in this weird, it's like digital. It's not real because he's on his knees. So they had to digitally make him walk.
Wow.
And he's just all like, "Were you sitting here feeling sorry for yourself?"
That is literally how he sounds. It's the most uncanny voice to come out of his mouth.
It is.
From now on, you
He
do the
is
voice
like-
of the little man.
He is like
Can you guys reenact
32
the scene?
inches tall. Yeah. And he
Yeah.
sounds like he has a deep voice of Methuselah. It does not make sense.
He could.
Basically.
Please reenact the scene. Dan, you're Hugh. Will,
Okay.
you're little man.
All right.
Go.
He walks
Oh
up and
man,
he's like,
I got a drink. Mm.
"What are you doing feeling sorry for yourself?"
Well, you know, my wife left me and my building burned down.
"I got no legs." That's basically how the scene goes. That's how it goes.
Are you
It's 100%.
serious? He's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
So
you
all
guys.
all the freaks except Zendaya show up
Yep.
because Zendaya is meanwhile at the hospital beds making
Sure.
out with Zac Efron, and all the
Efron.
just kind of subtle, but you see all the nurses and people looking at them because they're a biracial
Oh.
couple in the
Yeah.
1800s.
It's
Yeah,
freaky.
It's something to stare at.
So then this is Hugh Jackman's big number. Now this is the most, I would say this is the most musical number. This is the one that's like a musical.
Don't you think this movie would be more progressive if oh my god, if Zac Efron
Well.
loved Dog Boy?
Yes, exactly.
All right, you know what? That's actually where I stand. Put my foot down. That's what I'm saying. Is they've paired all the good-looking people. Like, who does the bearded lady have? Who does the little man have? Who does Dog Boy have? Nothing. They get
They
their
have
dollar
each
a
other.
show.
They have their
No!
family of freaks.
Hashtag Dog Boy deserves love.
Oh man. So
Fuck this
this is
movie.
Hugh Jackman's big number. Like this is
Yeah.
his real big number. His
This
like
is- this is-
soliloquy.
yeah.
Okay.
And we will come back home, and we will come back home.
Sounds like you're doing some sort of Eastern accent.
I'm doing the end of the song.
Oh, sorry.
Guys, the music in this movie is so good.
It is hot. It is hot. It slaps.
It's pop.
Literally,
I don't think it
every
slaps.
single song
It
is a
does
bop.
not slap. It's a bop, sure.
All the freaks are convinced him to start the circus again, and they literally say, "You brought joy into our lives."
It
That's all he
starts
did.
tonight. Yeah. And also they're in a bar and PG Barnum keeps like looking at photos on, you know how like on bars they have like photographs on the wall? He moves
TVs,
through-
you mean?
He moves through his whole life. Like there's a family photograph and there's a photograph of him and the freaks. And I'm like, how does this
At the bar?
Is this,
I
yes,
know.
is
It's
this,
like,
is this a P.T. Barnum bar?
yeah, does he
Yeah.
own this bar?
Maybe. He's a regular, obviously. He's a barfly. Leave him
Yeah.
alone.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're done.
He's
We
got
can
varicose
stop this song.
veins.
We stopped before the guitar.
It's very
comes
The
in,
Shining.
but
It's very The Shining with the pictures on the wall.
truly,
I
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember. Have I
That's
seen
a
that
future
one?
episode.
Yeah.
I've seen it, I think.
But we don't remember it. That's the spin-off.
I know. I don't remember shit.
So during this song, he also runs towards his wife's parents' house
yeah.
and basically wins her back. Like, in this song, like
I think Michelle Williams is a little too lenient because
A little
she's
bit.
like, because she leaves because she thinks he cheats, and then he comes back and he meets her on like this beautiful beach vista, and he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry," and she's like, "Ah, it's okay, you know, like we understand you were after status, it's okay."
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I would.
babe, you think he cheated?
No, I mean, I think I would assume her bigger concern is his obsession with status. Like, it's one, yes, of course she thinks he cheated, but I mean, I'm pretty sure did you guys not say that, like, she acknowledged how obsessed he was with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But,
that's gotta be
a kiss is the
exhausting.
gateway drug to a P&V. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, no. But he's not just kissing the bearded lady, right? Like, he's kissing some chick that is well renowned in Europe, and she sacrificed her status to be with this guy. And he decided to tour with her instead of like continue his work in the circus.
You're very wise,
So,
Alenka. Yeah.
Super
I
wise.
Yeah,
read
you're
a lot
right.
of books about spirituality. The
Did you read
human
The Secret?
connection. I don't know what that is.
So
Haven't read
basically, he wins his wife back.
Yeah.
He's all redeemed, and they're back at the rubble, and all the freaks are there, and they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And then he's like, "Well, I don't know." He's like, and then he has this great line. He goes, "Real estate in Manhattan is a terrible investment."
Big laugh.
Big
Big laugh.
From the freaks or from the audience?
No, he says that.
From the audience. It's really
Yeah.
relatable.
I mean,
Manhattan real estate is incredibly expensive, Alenka.
sure. I understand. The 1820s, though? 1890s? Couldn't have been that bad.
It is true. There looks like there's nothing in Manhattan. He just has a building.
At that point,
Yeah.
I would say like Manhattan was not nearly booming.
So he like looks over and he sees a big. What do you think he sees? What do you think he sees, Alenka?
Elephant.
There are elephants in this movie.
Close.
An
Yeah.
But what does he
animal?
see? What does he see?
A structure, you know?
A big triangle, a pyramid, a tent.
No.
circus-
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
circus tent.
Well, he
Yeah.
sees a tent, and then he goes,
Yeah.
and then that's the end of the movie. The ending song. We come back to the first song, "The Greatest Show,"
Yeah.
and now the whole show's in a tent, and
I
he
see.
they do the song and dance, and he passes his hat off to Zac Efron, and he's like, "You're in control of the circus now. I'm going to spend time with my family."
Well,
He
that's what
rides
you
an
do when you
elephant.
retire.
No, yeah. He rides an elephant to his daughter's ballet recital.
So let me get this straight. This guy revolutionized basically circuses in a tent. A traveling show, essentially.
Yeah.
Which,
Yes,
by
we'll
the
have-
way,
yeah.
I'll have you know, when the fall fair comes to New Hamburg every year, I guarantee you those fucking meth head cartons are not making that much.
I went
Own
to a
house in New
carnival.
York.
I went to a carnival when I was dating my previous GF, and they were so mean to me. This
Yeah.
man who was holding this, like, hitting like a bottle game, just like completely like negged me out, and it was so mean. And I didn't know. I was like, do I like yell back at this carny, or is this part of the fun to be like humiliated in front of my girlfriend? Like, what do I do? And that's P.T.
Yeah.
Barnum.
I mean, that guy was probably shit on all day by people your age for the past like 8 hours. And he's
Most
stuck
likely.
there at this location, literally living in a trailer for what? How long does a fall? I'm serious. For how long does a fall fair run? A couple
It
weekends,
has to be
right?
a week. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
At least. That sucks. And that's his income, man. Like, that's his thing. That's what he
Yeah, but-
does.
But don't
He's not
come
like,
after
"Oh,
me.
I'm a carnival hobbyist." No, it's like a dog, you know? Like, if it's mistreated enough, it's just like, "Oh, for fuck this," you know?
Yeah.
The human connection.
Condition.
Or
No, but
whatever.
like, have you ever heard of Barnum and Bailey circuses or the Ringling Brothers Circus?
Maybe, I don't know. Who's
No.
asking?
That's what this
Maybe
base is.
we
This is
are.
Barnum.
We're
This is-
asking.
So what did he
Will
actually do?
just
Did he
asked.
just he created the circus or what?
basically, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's neat.
His show, the Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers shows, ran till 2017. That's how recent.
What?
Yeah.
So
they've
did one
been-
of them die?
I think
Well, I
they
mean, they were-
retired. Yeah.
Was it unethical?
I think so,
Probably.
actually. I think they stopped because of the
Probably.
elephants or something. Like, there was, like, backlash.
I know
don't know.
PETA's been going on about the circus for fucking since I was like 12. When I thought I wanted to be a vegetarian, you know?
Oh, my God. Hey, you're not
So-
anymore?
I was for like a week. I was like, God, I love the taste of steak.
I love salad. Salad.
What?
That's me. Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant and also vegetarian, baby.
Oh no.
You live an exciting life.
Yeah, it's crazy. My nutrition is off the chain.
My nutrition is off the chain.
Well, Alenka, what did you think of that? That was the movie. That's the whole movie.
I mean, it's historical things are interesting all the time. I hate this character though.
Really?
I feel like 100%. Like it's so obvious that he's just like
Huey?
using people. 100%.
Honestly, I just realizing now, like, yeah, when you're talking about when we're just talking about this movie, Hugh Jackman brings such a charm to it that you forget how terrible he is. You literally are just like, I love Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman sanitizes the movie by
Yeah.
being himself. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because as we describe it, I'm like, yeah, this guy is a scumbag, and
He's
that's
a piece
all
of
like
shit.
us
he's a piece of
impression.
shit. And I do think that probably within the script they weren't actually, like, to me, I feel like they weren't trying to hold him in like a better light. It just happens that Hugh Jackman's just so worldly likable because he's like Australian or Tanzanian. I don't know. Ian. He's some sort of Ian. And
He's Australian.
it doesn't matter, Will.
Well,
He's
like
also
like,
American.
the real P.T. Barnum. I looked up some IMDb trivia, and it says, although the film portrays P.T. Barnum as a champion of racial equality, his record on the subject is decidedly mixed. One of his first exhibits was an elderly African American slave he had purchased and exhibited
Jeez.
as George Washington's nursemaid.
I'm
Which is like,
I'm
oh
not
shit!
surprised. This guy, like, I wouldn't even say they portray him as someone who's looking to, like, racial equality. That's not evident to me.
No. Like
At
this
all.
guy was a trickster, a huckster.
Yeah,
He
just
bought
a
a
manipulator.
slave. This guy
And
was
like
not
I said,
cool.
like he wasn't into equality whatsoever because then everybody would have gotten the same share.
No,
You know
but
what I
he
mean? Like,
sings so good. He sings so good.
His voice is
God.
beautiful.
And we will
We
come
forgive
back
him.
home.
because he sings like an angel.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, disappointed in the music. I'm so sorry, Dan.
Did
I'm
you
not
guys
saying
see
this-
that? Oh, you're disappointed. They released a whole other album of like popular artists covering the songs from the movie. Did you know that, Alenka?
Holy-
Yeah.
Of course
Did you know
not.
that it's universally loved?
Yeah. Ty Dolla
Not
Sign
at all.
does a
No.
cover of The Other Side, Alenka.
I can't even remember what that song was. It's just like they all probably sounded like this. Oh no no
Oh my God. Are you singing? Yeah, that's incredible.
Exactly. I mean, that's fine. It's just like the songs were not what I expected when I heard this was a musical. That's all.
I heard that they
That's
wanted to
fine.
do hip hop. So another piece of IMDb
But
trivia.
why?
Sorry.
To what point?
I'm getting drunk. Is that they said that they did hip hop like pop music instead of like 18th century like classical music because it would add like a new element because P.T. Barnum was, like exploring like new innovative ways to do show business. And that's bullshit, right?
I don't think he wasn't. He was not discovering anything new about how to do business. He was doing business the way you fucking do it. You find somebody who has a skill, you decide what their worth is, you tell them that because they think they're worth nothing, and then you take all the profit.
Exactly. And they're doing pop music because it makes money.
because
I'm-
it makes money. So they did exactly what
I'm
P.T.
curious,
Barnum
Alenka,
wanted.
what do you think about Hamilton?
I haven't seen it. I don't fucking know what it's about. What
Oh,
is
you
that?
don't know
Hamilton?
How do you not know anything about Hamilton? Anything? You've
I
never
don't
heard
know.
one song.
I have no idea what that's. I will say, Family Guy did it.
Family Guy did it. Oh my God.
Okay. Alexander Hamilton. That's all I know.
I invented
It's
the
a-
banks and I am an immigrant. Alexander Hamilton. Yes, I am.
He invented the banks.
Oh my God, I didn't mean to spoil an upcoming episode of this show. He invented banks.
I have a lot to
Okay,
say
well-
about that I don't think I can because I think we will lose all our followers. So we will never do Hamilton. That is... Well,
Luckily,
we
it's
can
not a
never-
movie.
We can never, if it ever becomes one, do Hamilton.
Hamilton is a hip hop musical, so I doubt you would like it. So
But why?
it's a fucking okay.
Okay, Hamilton's incredible,
no,
Alenka.
no,
I don't
it's fine,
understand
it's
what you're saying.
Fine. Hip hop is different, I guess, than pop, right? So
Yeah, it's
gonna
about
be
like
different.
6 letters different than pop. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Whatever.
Well, okay, Alenka, how many short guys do you give this movie or this episode?
Honestly, I mean, that's different though. If I'm rating the episode, this episode was hilarious and I thoroughly enjoyed it and it heated me and like upset me at the same time. This movie, though, what am I rating? Am I rating episode or movie? Because they're so different.
Rate
I would
the
love
movie.
you. Yeah, rate the movie.
The movie,
Yeah.
I give half a fucking short guy.
One half
pick
a short guy?
One half? One half. I just
Well, how
gives-
many dog boys do you give him?
one shaved dog boy.
Well, I give it 5 out of 5 Jenny Juxes. What's the bearded lady's name?
Letty Lutz.
Letty Lux.
Jenny Johnson. Yeah, that just says even more so to Dan's like review. Jenny Jutses. Meanwhile, it's really Lenny. He doesn't know. You don't know.
And I give it 10 out of 10 dancing bartenders. That's
Hell yeah.
What? Oh my god!
It's
guess
a banger musical. There's so many great hits in this.
This is
It's
what
like
it
an
is.
hour
This
40.
is what it
It's
is.
perfect. Okay, yeah.
It's a visual, spectacular thing, and y'all get distracted by sparkly things and flashing lights. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Maybe.
100%.
Dan, where can our listeners follow you or your Giamatti podcast?
Everything
Okay,
you want. Make
guys.
the list. Here we go,
Yeah, here
baby.
we go. https:// you can listen to my podcast. We're working through Paul Giamatti's filmography. So you can listen to us at Giamatti on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, at Giamatti Podcast on Instagram.
And that's exclamation marks, am I right?
Oh,
Yes.
hell yeah. The name
Oh,
has
very.
exclamation marks. We're passionate. And beyond that, that's basically the main thing. If you want to follow me, I have a YouTube channel, Daniel Brenneman. You can check that out.
10 out of 10.
But really, we're passionate about the Giamatti here. Oh, we didn't say what Paul Giamatti would be in this movie. What do you think? Will?
I wrote down, I think Paul Giamatti could play, if this is earlier in Paul Giamatti's career, he would play the fat man.
What?
Oh, you're so right. You're so
Yeah.
right. I think
Yeah.
it was early career, definitely Fat Man. Later career,
Yes.
the critic.
The
Because
critic, yes.
He's being a little bit more serious. But like early on, he'd be yelling, being the Fat Man, like,
Yeah.
don't shove a pillow up my belly. Like that. That exact type of shit.
Exactly. If you want to follow Haven't Seen a Podcast, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. That's at Haven't Seen a Podcast. Or on Twitter, that's at haven't_seen_it. You can go
Oh
to
my
our
God.
website,
I hate that. I hate that.
You can go to our website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff on there, including all our episodes and pictures of all the drinks and our guests and the
Boy.
whole list of movies that Alenka hasn't seen.
You'd be shocked. I know. I sometimes look at it and think, wow, girl, get a life.
This is so exciting because the listener can be quantitatively better than Alenka by watching these movies.
Yes. If you want to be better than Alenka, watch these movies.
You don't have to try very hard.
Hey, if you enjoy our show, please rate us on iTunes, leave us a review on iTunes or on our Facebook, or hey, you can comment on our episodes on our website. We just want to know that people are listening, you know? So do it.
Are you out there?